I've got so many publications now. I need a place to keep them all.
Yes.
For real
Yeah.
though, I'm starting to actually get enough links that I kind of want to consolidate them in one place. I've got the stuff that I've written for Meeple Mountain. I've got another one that just came out, and then I'm starting to blog about writing and actually get paid for it, which is cool. I've got a blog post on Noveler, which is awesome. And I'm going to link to that stuff in the show notes. But what do you recommend as far as like having a single place online where you can kind of point people and go, hey, this is the work that I'm doing?
There's two places that I currently use. Number one, when I got out of Facebook, when I finally deleted MySpace, when Friendster just sort of smoldered away, I returned to my Blogspot blogger account that I started in like 2005. And the idea for it was because if you go to Nine Inch Nails, and of course, Nine Inch Nails has a bit of a bigger fan base than I do. Actually, the fact that they have a fan base is different from me. But Nine Inch Nails website is very, very simple. Here's where we are. This is the tour we're doing. Here's some news. Nothing fancy. Like we all used to do back in the old day. It was, with the internet, it was like, hey, I need to have some GIFs over here. I need to have some flash, all this kind of stuff. And so I really took that as an inspiration that it was like, nobody really knows who I am right now. So I just went back to this blog and I just post whenever I have something that's new that I have, I have new work published. I'm really happy to be here in this publication. Please go check it out. And that's helped me just kind of organize it for myself and be able to give myself a timeline of when these things happen. The other site that I've been using a lot lately, and I think we probably talked about it before, is Chill Subs. I think it's chillsubs.com. I don't think it's anything fancy, but
Yeah, it is.
quick
Mm-hmm.
Google search will get you there. And what they do, they have a free service where you can create a profile and put examples with links to your work so that it's all consolidated. With my blog posts, it's sort of like you have to scroll through my blog, but with Chill Sub, and I can't believe how 2005 it makes me sound to be scrolled through my blog. But with Chill Subs, it's very nice. They've just redesigned their website. It looks fantastic. It's so easy to find publications that you want to submit to. They can really, really get into the granularity of like, how many words is your story? What kind of, what is it? Is it prose poetry? Is it fiction? Is it this, that, and the third? But creating a profile on chillsubs.com is really great because it's free. And then you can just have a place where all of your works are there so that you can send people to.
That's really cool. I've been looking for something, and I did a quick search recently, and I found something called authorpage.com, and it looks like it's actually in beta. Have you heard of this thing?
I have not, but I'm
Yeah.
writing it down right now.
Yeah, authorpage.com. It's a free website for authors. Basically, you would have authorpage.com/your name as your homepage. And it would give you an opportunity to create pages for your books, build a book catalog. It really feels like combinations of things that are being handled by like Scrivener and Goodreads and like just a way to kind of combine everything. I have a desire to have a single source of truth, like a place I can point people that basically is like, here's who I am, here's what I do. And I haven't found that
Yeah.
yet. So I don't know if this is, I'm not shilling for AuthorPage. Like I don't know these guys, but it was interesting to kind of stumble across that. I always think like, oh, I'm so unique that I have this problem. No, hundreds of thousands of people are trying to solve the same problem. So it's fun to kind of
Yeah.
go out there and see what somebody else has already done. One thing I want to actually pause and tell you about, because this is funny. Remember how way back when, at the beginning of the show, we were encouraging people to go out and build their writing team? So I took my own advice. Yay. Because I think I remember, in a recent, a previous episode, I had said maybe we should expand the number of people who are reading our work. So I went out and as a kind of mini midlife crisis, because I'm approaching that age, I've decided to kind of go backward in time and reconnect with people that I went to school with, who I'm still buddies with, but maybe I've lost touch with. It's been a long time since we've talked. It's been tremendously successful. I've got a couple of stories in the can that are kind of circulating and we'll see where they land. But I shared those stories out with these people that I went to school with, many of whom are published and are doing the work. And the feedback came back really positive. So and this one guy, in fact, it was Dave Baker, has actually become a reader for me because I offered to read for him. So he and I are kind of doing that, as needed. But I sent him a couple of stories, and he wrote me back with some really good feedback. He said, this one is almost there, but it's not quite there. And he kind of gave me some things to think about, and, just scratched my head and went, yep, he's right. So I've gone back to the drawing board on that, and I'm almost done with that rewrite. Really exciting stuff to have like-minded, writer-focused people to kind of dive deep into story with. So it's been super awesome.
That's great. That's really good. So how many people do you have that are reading your work right now?
6. I have a reading group of 6. You're in that 6, by the way, but 6. Oh. And I still count you, my friend. Yes. 6.
I don't even know 6 people. Where the fuck did you find all these people?
Let me think. One of them is a local artist who has self-published his own book, and he's got a really good voice. And so I wanted to get his perspective just as a reader and somebody who is an artist. And he had, very complimentary things to say, which was good. And I think he's the kind of person who, if he didn't have complimentary things to say, he would not hide them, right? Like he would be very vocal with this isn't working. Because I've shown him some of my, let's put this in quotes, artwork. In my board game time, I would design football helmets for the teams that we were developing, and he was very open with, this isn't working, because he's a professional artist. And I was very, how sometimes people get feedback and they're like, no, I was very much like, oh yes, great sensei, please help me, help me fix this. And it always came out better listening to him. So I thought, well, heck, let me give that a shot in fiction as well. And he was very complimentary. I was quite pleased.
No, I just love the idea that my 8-year-old self would so love to be sitting there designing football helmets, because I remember the amount of time that I spent, on my lined paper in school, just drawing all of the football helmets. Like, we're talking Houston Oilers here, buddy.
Good. That is a good thing to talk about. I wasn't a big Houston Oilers fan, but I like their helmet. But the whole idea of getting people who understand how difficult the work is and are well disposed to providing good feedback, because not everybody gives good feedback, right? Like when 25 years ago, I was trying and I thought I was giving good feedback, but I probably wasn't. I was probably giving people the idea of, well, this is what you should do to fix this because it's bad, and even though that's not what I intended, that's probably how it came off. But people who are serious about creating art and who are respectful of the process and respectful of other people's efforts are really going to provide feedback more like this. Hey, this is what I got out of it. This is what worked for me. This is what didn't work for me. And if you want more information, I'm happy to give it to you, but there you go. And that's super helpful, to find out where that story is kind of falling apart or where it's not plucking the right string.
That's really great. I've got you. I've got Jen when she's not treading the boards in some show, and I got my old friend. I got my dog. Awesome. He reads.
I'm so proud that you put so much work out into the world. That's where you're an aspirational goal for me, because you submit so frequently and you're generating new drafts and you're doing the work of revising frequently. Even in the face of having a brand new job that is a very large time suck, you're still doing the work the right way. Now I'm just trying to pull people back into my circle and go, hey, would you mind?
Yeah.
And, look, the best way to do that is to offer to read their stuff, right? So my buddy in Chicago has a novel. He published his first novel, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. But his second one is done. And he just hasn't had the courage to go back and start editing it yet. Life got in the way. And I'm like, well, I'll read it. How long is it? And he told me, and I'm like, I will still read it. It's very long. I'm going to read that because I want to help. Like I keep telling everybody, I feel like I want to contribute to your success because that's fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the other things that I've been trying to do in building that community, I took a workshop a couple of weeks ago and I realized it's the first writing workshop or, writing get together or, even writing jamboree that I've taken since the early zeros when I would go to a Borders bookstore and, drink chai lattes and have, get in these little, Tuesday night writing group where we would just, practice writing. And so I realize that going to workshops is very, very important. And I know that that's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. There are folks out there, I know, especially coming from the acting world, there are workshops or there are classes that are kind of more like, no disrespect to anybody, but like, kind of like smash and grabs. Like you're going there to try and learn something, and the instructor might be a casting director or someone high up in the food chain somewhere. And they're never it's just sort of, they're just there to collect the money. It's there for a side gig or stuff. But if you can find great classes, I'm so into them right now. And I want to take more of them because I took one with Kathleen Coldiron from X-Ray Lit Magazine. And X-Ray Lit Magazine is one of my absolute favorite places to go to be inspired by work. And it was a really, really great experience getting a couple exercises into my head and also just meeting new people. Now from that class, I had a bunch of people that I can now follow like through social media and try and read their work. Like it was really a great experience. So I'm hoping to do more of that in a way that can produce a community that, not only supports, but at some point might, find a couple more readers or something like that.
No, that's great. I like the idea of doing a workshop. I actually want to lead a workshop though. It's not that I feel like I'm so talented that I have to share with the masses. No, but I have a learning and development background. I've been doing that for 23 years and I know how a really good facilitator can help people learn whether they have subject matter expertise or not. And the way that works is you kind of build a workshop where people feed off of each other and where your source material is really strong and the exercises, complement each other. And so you can kind of scaffold and learn, these different things. And I have actually built a whole competency map for fiction writing, that I've shown to some people and they're like, this is amazing. I'm like, well, I'd stop short of amazing, but I'm pleased with it so far. So I'm really excited to develop the Tiffin Writing Workshop as a thing as we progress into season 2 and beyond.
Yeah, and I'll be there to lead the workshop in Zip Zap Zop and other improv-based games.
That's going to be great. I mean, I'm terrible at improv, and the little bit of instruction I had in it, it was a miserable experience because I wasn't allowing myself to sort of be playful and free and make mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can teach me how to do that better. Yeah, we'll do that another time. I'd love your opinion on this because for me, season 1 has been this journey from, gosh, should I even be doing this? To, yeah, I should be doing this. And so I hope people get something out of it. But for me, the whole arc of the, it's going to be 24 episodes when it's done is, yeah, let's do it. It took 24 episodes to get to, let's do it.
Yeah, I think once you get over the fact of, I think, worrying, would anybody even listen to this? I mean, you and I listened to it. And to be honest, I think that's what's been kind of fun about it as well, is just connecting with you. And if other people get stuff out of it, that's really, really great. I think for me, it helps me talk through some of my problems. I mean, obviously there are some things that we both learned, #microphones.
Oh yeah.
But I think that, it's just nice to be able to have that connection point with someone who is going through the same struggles. And they're not specifically the same struggles. I'm just saying the same struggle, which is just writing,
Yeah.
Everybody has their own thing and everybody that has something that works for them. And then, for me going to that X-Ray Lit Mag workshop, it was finding maybe a couple new tools that I could use because I think that's really important. When I was younger, I remember, I don't know how many times I've said it in the Tiffin Writing Workshop podcast, but I love Vernon Reid. He's my favorite guitar player. He plays for Living Colour. He's an incredible guitar player. And I remember, I think it was early in this century, he was saying that he was taking a class or reading a book maybe on guitars, just taking a guitar class. And it's sort of weird to think somebody that at that point had so many, years of experience playing guitar is taking a class. And it's like, no, you gotta go back to the basics sometimes. You gotta learn different approaches. And I think that that's what's really great. And I'm hoping that, I'm getting different approaches through just talking to you like I've always done for the past 30 years. And it would be nice if hopefully someone else is maybe stuck in a spot with their writing and they got something like that from us as well.
Yeah, that's what's really cool. And I know I listen back to the shows because we say things that are helpful and then I forget them, right? Because I'm a person and I have a job. But like, it's nice to sort of be in a spot and go, man, I'm kind of stuck here with the writer's block. Oh, wait, we did an episode on that. And I can go back and listen to either the long one, or I can just kind of do the refill as that quick kind of refresher. And so that's what's really exciting, is that we're going to continue to do that into season 2, where we've got this, this kind of long form, short form alternation that I've found really helpful, because sometimes I want to listen to the whole thing because they're fun and they're funny, and they're insightful. And in the short ones, if I just need kind of a quick boost, I can just do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the important thing is too, for me in talking about this with you and, and folks that we're bringing along, it's that idea of trying to stay open, and I think that that's very, very important. Is one of the reasons that I took the workshop, and one of the reasons that I'm starting to read not just the writing of other people, but how they approached their writing, is because I don't ever want to be in a position where I can say, I know what works for me. It's always going to change, The coffee maker that I use to make my coffee in the morning that helps me with my writing session in the early AM, that coffee machine is going to break, and I'm going to have to figure out how I like my coffee with the new coffee maker, Yeah. That's the kind of shit that throws me off course. And I think doing things like taking workshops and discussing things with other writers about the process has really helped me to realize that I don't ever want to be comfortable in the way that I'm doing it. I know that I'm going to have to change at some point. And that might be a week from now. That might be the next time I, open the laptop.
Yeah. And, Dave said it really well in his guest spot, is that we have defined the process for each work. Each one of these things requires a slightly different approach, and that's what keeps it fresh and interesting. So, as we look at season 2, do you have any goals or expectations on season 2, stuff that we should cover or stuff that people could expect from us?
T-shirts.
No. Coffee mugs. Why aren't we doing coffee mugs? That'd be perfect. It's right there on the placard,
You know what? We should, what I think it would be? Instead of like T-shirts, we could make like name tags that you would see at the Tiffin Inn that just sort of like have that round circle of the Tiffin Inn and then just their name on it. Anyway, I think season 2, I just want to continue to find new ideas and new ways. And I think and I know that we're talking about bringing in some folks to talk to. I think they're called interviews, but I just want to continue. I think I just want to continue and explore different directions and then do the work inspired by what we're talking about and how we're talking about it. Because, it's very easy to sort of, hi, welcome to our writing podcast.
Right.
This is how you should tackle X, Y, and Z, but not be able to sort of like have the experience to talk about it. And that's what I think is really important, that we're both, I think for myself, I feel like I'm writing more because of this workshop, because of just talking to you.
Absolutely. 100%. Same here. And we're not the kind of people who are like, hey, welcome to the Tiffin Inn podcast. Smash that subscribe button. Check the comments. We don't do that, right?
No, yeah.
Writing. No, we don't do any of that.
Writing.
Fiction. We don't do any of that crap. The whole idea of it being a workshop was to provide people ultimately with some real world applicability that they can just take off the shelf and see if it works for them. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, you just set it aside, try something else. And I think we've done that. The refills certainly kind of encapsulate the off the shelf, grab and go kind of advice that we've kind of relearned, by doing. And so we'll continue that. But I think in season 2, what I'd like to do is start to dive more into craft, where we start looking at, like, how do I develop a good character, sentence structure, really micro topics, and maybe the episodes will be a little shorter, who knows? But, provide things that I can go, okay, well, I really feel like my sentences are not popping. What can I do? What can I look at? What can I read?
Yeah.
And I think that would be really fun. And the refills do have some exercises at the end. So if folks want to try out that new methodology, there's usually a little thing at the end of the refill that can kind of point you in the right direction.
Yeah. We have it all for you. And then if you want, if those still don't work, Art's phone number is
No.